Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. As ever, you can find me over on Instagram at the House of Langford and at Overall Sews. I'm also on Ravelry at Mad X Stitcher. There is a Facebook page and a Facebook group linked to this channel, and there is a Ko-fi account if you'd like to donate towards the general running costs and giveaway prizes as well. So hi, if you're new here, hello. This is my birthday podcast because I started my podcast in September 4 years ago. So this is 4 years since I've been podcasting, and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about all the things I have been making, whether it's crochet, knitting, whatever craft I feel like doing at the time, and yeah, just showing you what I've been getting up to and all the ins and outs of being a teacher, basically. There are vlogs on the channel as well, of what I get up to during like the summer holidays and stuff like that. Yeah, just general crafty stuff really. I am a textiles teacher based in Thurrock, Essex. I live here in a flat with my son Joey, who is 19 almost. Where is that time gone? I have no idea. In addition to that, my husband actually now lives in Scotland. He got a position at Glasgow School of Art back in May, so we are kind of living between countries. Yeah, it is a strange setup, but we are trying to make the best of it, and we'll see where it takes us, I guess. Yeah, so let's start off with, what should I talk about? So as I said, it is my birthday podcast day, which means there will be a giveaway. I did mention it in my last podcast, but my last podcast only went up about a week ago. Today is the 1st of October, so I am going to wait a week or so before I pop this up on the channel, so that it gives people a bit more time to enter, because yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you all of this now, because it will have been done by then anyway. Yeah. Right, at the top of this episode, I'm going to let you know that just over a week ago, I was quite ill. I thought I had what I had in July. I was coughing a lot in July and ended up with a week off work. So I thought I was just coming down with that again. However, this time it was the same thing, but there was more involved with it this time. And having gone to the pharmacy, they suggested actually taking a COVID test. Needless to say, it was positive. So yeah, I'm going to need to take regular breaks from now on for a little while, just to try and keep my breath, basically. Yeah, I'm finding it difficult to teach at the moment because I'm having to take big breaks in between explaining stuff, doing demonstrations and stuff like that, and just general teaching things. I'm finding it difficult to walk from one end of the building to the other without getting out of breath, and therefore needing to take breaks, actual breaks, at break and lunchtime, and just sit and breathe. So that's what I've been dealing with for the last week, and surprisingly, I've got some stuff done. Don't know how. My brain has been a bit muddled. My head has hurt so much. But yeah, I've got quite a few finishes to show you. If you remember back to August was summer holidays, and I managed to finish 13 things in August. And I have smashed that for September. And normally that doesn't happen because it's the first we go back to work in September. So everything's always a bit crazy. But yeah, I have finished 17 things in September, which is quite a record for me, really. I mean, other than back in like 2020 when I was making mask after mask after mask, and I think I did 35 things in 1 month, Most of them were masks though. This has been like, there's some bigger projects, there's some smaller projects, there's some amigurumi, there's a bit of everything for September. So yeah. What else am I going to say? So my husband did visit in September. He came down for an exhibition in London at Loop, and actually sold a piece of his work as well, so he's really chuffed with that. And at the same time he ordered something for me, not a piece of artwork, but because I have nowhere to put it, I have no wall space left, he ordered me this t-shirt. So it is a Pokemon themed one. It is Eevee with all the different tails from their evolutions, and I love it. It's so colourful and it fits really nice as well. Normally when I order t-shirts like this they don't fit very well, but yeah, I'm really chuffed with it, so I'm going to wear it all of today, and it might even venture to work for me with me at some point. Yeah, depends on my clothing choices for that particular day. Now I like to start off my podcasts by explaining the plans that I had set myself from the previous month. Basically I set myself a set of goals or things that I want to achieve in the month coming up. Now I had 5 things that I wanted to have a go at doing or completing. The first one was the snowman that I started back in August. I wanted to finish it. I've done that. The second one was to finish the Cuddlebear that I started again in August and I ran out of yarn. I have finished it. The third thing was to finish off the granny shawl for my colleague, because I started it in July and it kind of needs to get done. I finished it. I wanted to make 20 pumpkins. 20 because I'm crazy. I haven't quite made 20. I will explain later how many I've made, and there's a lot of other things going on, so you know, I haven't made 20. I have made 1 though. And lastly I wanted to border my Lucky Puppy blanket, because I have been saying since the pattern was released in May that I needed to border it, and I have put it off and put it off and put it off, and picked it up the other day and decided, you know what, I'm just going to finish it. I'm just going to do it. So I have finished the Lucky Puppy blanket, and with that we're going to move on to all of those finishes. Now, I've already mentioned that there's quite a lot of finishes to go through, which means I've had to write everything down again so I don't forget it. And we're going to start off with the very beginning of September. I entered into the Orset show again. I've done that for, when was the first time I entered? I don't even remember. 2013, 14 maybe? I first entered into the Orset show, and this year I entered, I think, 6 items, and I placed in 4 categories. So I'm pretty happy with that. And it was the first year as well that adults have actually got the rosettes again. So I got 1 first, and I got 2 seconds. There's another blue one here. And then I got a 3rd as well. So yeah, I really like the rosettes, and I'm really glad that they gave them to us this year, because I've been missing them. All my old ones are getting a bit tatty, and I think I did have one. I've got one up there, but you can't see it in the frame. From when I won the cup a few years back, and I ended up keeping it, didn't I, for the whole of lockdown and COVID, because the show didn't run. So I had it, I think, 2 years. I won it in 2019. It was cancelled in 2020 and then reopened in 2021. So yeah, I had it for 2 years. But yes, so I got some more roses. So yes, I do enter my makes into the country show every year, and it's just really nice, especially when you place. So yeah, is that prize winning or award winning? I don't know. Anyway, in order to enter some of the categories, I wanted to make some new pieces. I haven't made any hair pieces like fascinators in a long while, or jewellery, so I decided this year I wanted to make a crown. In the past, I've made a tiara based on Elsa's crown from Frozen, which is actually in the banner on my YouTube channel, which was made for a friend of mine. It was for her daughter. So this is the one that I made this year. What do we think? I love the crystals in this. They're just rainbow and sparkly. It's so pretty. And yeah. Now, these headbands are a bit tight on my head, but I could actually just take it off of the band and put some hair combs in it, so it'll just sit on the head that way. But aren't they pretty? So the actual circle that they're mounted onto was from a set of rings that I bought from Wish a couple of years ago, and I bought them to make mandalas and stuff out of crochet, but this one was just the right size to make a little crown, so I'm very pleased with this. And at the same time, I also had, I've got quite a few of these little cabochons, so I made a necklace. It doesn't quite match, but I don't mind that it doesn't match. I did a slightly different design to frame it because this sort of shape didn't really work as a pendant, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I have been at the wire and my tools have been out, and it was just really nice actually to make something different. I'm so used to working in crochet at the moment that this has got put to the wayside, and actually maybe it's time to bring it back if I can muster up the ideas like this. So yeah, I'm very happy with these. And although this piece didn't particularly place, because I had entered it into the fascinator category because it's on a headband and it's a fascinator, it's not meant to be worn all the time, but they had moved it into the jewellery category, so the pendant that I did put in for jewellery went up against this and the pendant place, not this. But either way, I'm happy that I made a crown because it was really fun to do, and it's just so pretty. Now I'm going to show you the bag because the order that I've written stuff is not the order that I can reach them out of the bag, but this is filled with all the things I have made this month. So I think it's time to dive in and show you what is in here, because I've been a bit busy. Okay, so I am going to follow my list, which means I'm going to have to fight in the bag to get stuff out, but I showed you this in pieces last month because I'd run out of yarn, and he's now finished, and he is just adorable, and he is so soft. I think I've overstuffed him. He's a bit full in the tummy, but yeah, he's really cute. And actually the ball of yarn I used for the majority of him I got last year, I think, and we hadn't ordered this colourway for a long while at the shop, so the legs are slightly lighter, but doesn't really matter. He's still a cute teddy bear. And yeah, so he's made in King Cole Yummy in the colour Teddy, because he's a teddy bear and he's just so cute. I had to buy some bigger noses because the ones that I have are very small and obviously made for like DK weight projects, not chunky weight projects. It is a pattern from Hobbii, Hobbii, and it is called Cuddlebear, and he is indeed very cuddly. So I really enjoyed working him up. I had a little bit, I think his eyes might be in the wrong place, but I'm not going to change that now, am I? So Yeah, I'm very pleased. I have got quite a lot of Yummy in my stash. So the reason I bought lots of noses is because I plan to make quite a few more of them. But he is just adorable. So yeah, I'll put all the links down below to any patterns I've used, which you can find online and from Ravelry and websites and stuff like that, or YouTube tutorials. So you can go and make your own as well. But he is just so cute. So he used just over 1 ball of Yummy. And he's originally designed to be made with the crushed velvet boheme velvet yarn, which is a chenille yarn from Hobbii, which are in 50-gram balls. And it's meant to take about 75 grams of that yarn, which is a DK weight type yarn. So obviously this was going to take more. I had hoped I would get it from 1 ball, but alas, no. So, 1 Cuddlebear. Next up on my list is another polar bear, and these are going to be collected today. So I have made 3 polar bears now. This is now Daddy Bear. I've made the baby bear and the mama bear, and both times I've done the bigger ones, the legs have come out in different places, but I think he's really cute. So now I have a little family of polar bears that are going off to their new owner today. Just look at their cheeky smiles. So cute. So I'll pop a picture up of all 3 of them together. But this is where all my stuffing has gone this month. He is so plump. Very much stuffed in comparison to the other 2. But yeah. So the pattern for this is from Jessie Crochet Wonderland. The yarn I have used is Cherished King Cole in DK weight of white colour. And then I've just used some DK black Starcraft special DK that I had lying around to add on his facial features. So yeah, not much else to say about that because you've seen the other 2 last month. But yes, I have another polar bear. Right, the next one is not going to fit on the camera. And I'm not going to push my camera back purely because I have managed to take a photo of it so that you can see it in its full glory. I started this back in July. So this was just before I was ill in July. We went to the zoo as a school trip with year 8 students. And I started this for my colleague. And it is enormous. I have used 2 cakes of yarn. And now this yarn is rainbow yarn that I picked up from Lolly's Little Wool Shack back in around 2017, 2018. It is the same colourway I used for my rainbow hexie cardigan. So it's quite bright, and I have no doubt that my colleague will be wearing it around school. So this is just a riot of colour, and I love it. I have made one of these before. I did it in hand-dyed yarn though, my first one. It is the granny wrap from Annaboo's house. I've just used a 4mm hook and I've used 2 cakes. So the cakes are about 150 grams each. I need to weigh it actually and work out how much it has actually used. And what I did is one of the cakes, the colours didn't quite line up with the rainbow. So I think I got like part way through this green and then it immediately went to yellow, then orange. And then there was green, yellow, orange again. So I cut it and found the next bit and sort of joined them together. So I've got a few more green rounds, a few more yellow, and then a few more orange before going into the pink of the next cake. And then I did the same thing at the end here. I still had some orange left over. I don't know where from, possibly from the first ball. And so I had to use a little bit of that to do the very last bit. But I actually quite like the fact that you've got the bigger colour sections in the middle and then you get smaller stripes as you get further out. But yeah, I did stop and cut at one point because I was worried that the lime green wasn't going to make a full row the further out I got, and it didn't make a full row. But if I hadn't cut it, then it would look odd, so I cut a little bit out. But my colleague was like, no, I just want to see it finished. I don't care if it's halfway through a row. So I was like, okay, I'll just carry on. But yeah, it is so big. It is bigger than my wingspan. So I have got a picture of it at full length. And yeah, I just really enjoyed working on it. It's so easy to do because it is granny stripe. So you're just doing clusters of trebles, and then at each end you increase by 1. That's it. So yeah, I really enjoyed working on this, and I really hope that she likes it and is going to get lots of wear out of it as well. So yeah, I mean, just look at all those colours. It makes me so happy. Right, next up I have the cutest little ghost that I started when Ralph was here visiting from Scotland. It was a kit that came with a Simply Crochet magazine, issue 49, which I recently worked out is actually from 2016, so from 2016. And prior to my friends coming around and helping me sort of clear some space in the living room, it was still in the cellophane, because I really wanted to make this ghost but didn't really have the time to do it. But yeah, I made a little ghost. It's called a Ghostly Gloria. It is a pattern by, I think, Sarah Huntington. I will double check though and put details down below. You can find this on Ravelry. It is on Ravelry. And I have also decided to make a larger one, so I'll show you that in whips. But he's just so cute. Now what I did find though is you start at the top of the head and then work down the body. It's really clever how you make the armholes so that you can attach the arms. However, you're meant to stuff from the bottom, and obviously it gets smaller, so he's not as well stuffed at the bottom as he is in the head. And the same for the arms. You start at the body to go and then go around to make the arms. So you're supposed to stuff through this teeny tiny hole, which is why I've decided to make one in chunky yarn, so I've got a bigger space to work with. But yeah, he's really cute. He didn't take very long to work up either. I started him on, I think, the Tuesday, and then on the Wednesday, or it might have been the Friday and then Saturday, I only had his arms to add on when I was at the shop. So yeah, he's a cute little ghost. I'm not sure what the yarn is because it came with the magazine. Doesn't feel very nice, but it is very cute. So yes, there's a lot of amigurumi going on, isn't there? I seem to be in an amigurumi mood because I did quite a lot of that in August too. But yes, I have a little mini ghost, and I'll show you the bigger ghost later. My next project has taken most of September to do. I basically dug out some yarn. I have been trying to use up my stash. I have not bought any yarn this month except to finish off the Cuddlebear, which is actually really restrained for me. Extremely restrained. The fact I have bought no yarn. Wow. Yep. Anyway, so I found leftover yarn from last year's advent calendar from Crochet Society. I had quite a lot left over after making the cow, and figured, well, I'm just going to make some squares. Let's make some squares, make a baby blanket. Then I've used up quite a bag of yarn. And actually, I'm going to show you what I have left, because there's not an awful lot. This is what I have left. Some of it wasn't enough to make a full square after making all the squares, and I've got like teeny tiny balls of some of the colours. And so there's another not finished square. There's one that's 2 rounds of a square, so I could use a different colour to add a 3rd round. That one didn't quite make it. I pulled it back a couple of times and it still wasn't enough. Still wasn't enough. It needs 2 chain and 1 treble. I might have to go again, put it back one more time to see if I can make it work. And then there's another one here that is again 2 rounds. But I do have 4 squares left over from the ones that I did finish. I have just done a very simple solid granny square, which is the pattern I wrote to teach our beginners how to make solid grannies. I also wrote one for a traditional granny as well. So I've just done 3 rounds of a solid granny, and I made, how many squares did I make? Don't remember. But I have managed to make enough that this blanket is 8 squares. Is it 8 squares by 9 or is it 9 squares by 7? Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 by 9. So I've made a baby blanket, and this is going to go to a friend of mine who is due a baby in like a couple of weeks. So let me move the extras out of the way so I can show you properly. And yeah, so I just made loads of squares in all the different colours I had from this particular advent. I have measured everything, weighed everything, so it's all on my Ravelry page if you want to know how much I've used, etc, etc. What I did do though is, in order to join everything, I used icing sugar. Now I didn't have very much, I think I had 1 ball from this advent left over, but I have a big bag. I'll put a picture up of the big bag of all the previous yarns from the 2020 cow and the 2021 cow as well. And then I found 3 balls of icing sugar in there that are all the same ball band, which means they're all from the same year. And I have literally just done a slip stitch join. So I did all of the long joins first. So all the joins going this way between all the squares. And then I spun it and did all the short joins this way. And then I have just gone all the way around. I did 1 round of doubles and then 2 rounds of trebles before finishing it off with a crab stitch. And what I think I should have done though is made some decreases in the where the joins are, because I have a stitch either side and it doesn't sit flat. It's wrinkly, it's wibbly wobbly. But I'm hoping that once it's blocked and stretched a bit, then it will sit flat. But I really like it. It's just the perfect baby size. It really is. And I really hope my friend will like using that for their baby as well. Now the yarn is Confection DK. It is a Bella Coco yarn, and it is very popular in the Crochet Society boxes because it's just nice and soft. It's quite dense as well. The closest I have found so far, especially from my local shop, is King Cole Cherished. That's the closest I can find in terms of density. But I still think this is denser. So it's quite solid. It's very snuggly, very soft. But yes, so I have used up the yarn from my advent of 2022. Now I'm going to be adopting the same process, and I'm going to use up the yarns from 2021 and 2020 as well to try and make some more, because I think actually this is a really nice project to work on. I love modular things purely because you can just sit and make lots of bits and then you just do a joining session. So I think it took me a couple of days to join them. And then another half day or so to do the border, because obviously it's not a very big blanket. Now I actually did this whilst I was off sick with COVID. So I started joining it on the Thursday evening, and then I felt well enough to sit in the living room on Friday evening and did some more after testing, and then spent most of Saturday working on this project to get it finished. And I'm very pleased with my little baby blanket. Okay, so I was supposed to be somewhere Friday evening and Saturday. Stanley of Stanley's Crochet Workshop ran a couple of workshops at my local yarn shop, All Tangled Up, also known as the Little Yarn Hut, and was teaching people how to make some lavender sticks and then some plushy whales. And I had planned to go to the Friday session and then planned to help out on the Saturday session. However, was ill, so I couldn't go. But I still wanted to contribute because the sessions were run to raise money for St. Luke's Hospice in Basildon. And so I made sure that my money was still paid, and there was a raffle as well. I did actually win 2 items on the raffle, but I'll show you those in acquisitions at the end. And Helen, who runs the shop, kindly dropped off the 2 kits that I should have got on the Friday for me. And I was like, I need a pink one. So she brought around the kits, and Saturday evening I literally sat there and pretty much made up my whale. I just needed to sew, finish the underbelly of him on the Sunday morning. But he's so squishy. Look. It is so cute. He's got his little tail at the back and his little flippers on either side. And he's just so cute. And I think I will be making more. I have, like I said earlier, I've got a whole stash of yummy yarn. And you'll find out what I've been doing with that yummy yarn in a minute. But yeah, so I have a cute little whale. It is a pattern that Stanley has written. So he was he asked me to check it for him, and I did check it, and everything works out fine. And then I knew the pattern, like I knew a part of the pattern before I got my kit. And yet I still did that round wrong and had to redo it. But it was just because my head just was not working properly. So yeah, and I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I knew what I should have been doing, but my head and my hands did not want to work together. So anyway, I did finish it, and I think I will definitely be making more because he's so cute and he's very quick to make up as well. Definitely, and in the plushie, he's nice and soft. So I have a bright pink whale. I haven't made the lavender yet. That is still on my list of things to do. But I really wanted to make this one, so that is what I did. That was my Saturday evening project, and then that kind of spurred me on for what I wanted to do on Sunday after I finished this one. So there's a theme here, which you'll probably pick up on. So last month I was working on this project. It was a whip, and since I finished the whale and I'd finished the blanket and I'd finished the polar bear and a cuddlebear, I decided that I was going to finish this off. So it is a Hobbii craft kit. It is a Christmas kit. I did the gingerbread man last month, and this month I have now finished the snowman. I mean, look at his arms. He's got little stick arms and a little scarf. I can't get the scarf to stay pointing down, but look at his little hair. I just need to do what I need to do on the gingerbread man, which is sew on the hollyberry leaves onto his hat. But I need to find an embroidery needle because my darning needles that I use for crochet are far too big, and it's going to make such a big hole. So I need a little sewing needle to do that. I might have to borrow one from work. But yeah, so I have a little snowman. It is a Hobbii craft kit. We ordered these from the shop. It uses Shipya's Katona yarn and then Yarn Love, I think. I can't remember what the red is. Let me find the... There we go. So that's the label. It is a Hobbii craft kit. It uses a 2.5 hook because the Katona yarn is more like a 4-ply. But I'm really pleased with him. He turned out quite cute. And as I said before, I do have a few more that I need to be working on. So you might see those before Christmas. And I might have a whole set. If I can find them. Because at the moment I only know where this one and the gingerbread man are. So that's going to be on my list of things to do as well, isn't it? find them. Now, I've enjoyed working on the Hardy Craft kits. I just find that these ones are a little bit fiddly because they're smaller, but they look really cute. So I do have a much larger project that I really want to make for Christmas for my husband. So again, it's a Hardy Craft kit. I'll pull that one out back in November, I think, maybe. Because, yeah, I really want to do it. I've had that since last year as well. So I need to kind of crack on. Anyway, I am still going. I'm well over half an hour in. And I've still got loads to show you. So, yes. Back in August, I went to Stitches on the Sand and went to visit the yarn show. And Lowestoft Wool Shop was there. And I picked up a kit. It had yarn and a pattern book to make some dinosaurs. And this is the pack. There's the dinosaur book. This is what I have left. I have made this one, the Tyrannosaurus. And he is very cute. I'm not sure why his arms stick up though. But yeah. He was quite fiddly. I made all the pieces for him, I think, before I made the whale. And then I think I just did it all in Sunday morning. Made all the pieces, had lunch, and then came back and just decided to put them all together. So you can see where most of my stuffing has gone this month, because I've made quite a few toys. I think he's really cute. What I'm hoping to do is make the Stegosaurus as well from the book, because he's in blue and I have the blue yarn. This is Sirdar Happy, is their chenille type yarn. So it kind of works up like a DK weight yarn, much like the Bohemian Velvet from Hobbii is supposed to work up. And I can just see this being made in the Yummy as well. So many pieces though. Each of these spines is an individual piece that you then sew on. The mouth is 2 pieces, this red bit and the bottom green bit that you sew on. And then you have to sew on his patch for his tummy. Everything is attached. But I actually really enjoyed making him. And this yarn isn't actually too bad to work with either. Even though it is, again, another fluffy yarn. And a lot thinner to work with than the Yummy. It's not that difficult. So, yeah, I might have to make some more. I have been finding so many tutorials on making plushy dinosaurs using the chenille type yarn. And I want to make all of them. But, yeah, I'm really pleased with him. So you'll see the other dinosaur at some point as well. Because, why not? Right, the last thing I have made with this chenille type yarn, this Yummy yarn, is some Manta-rays. I made one back in August for my husband, and I gave that to him when he came to visit. And I was just looking for something to do that would be quick to make up at the weekend, and decided, well, I'll make some more Manta-rays. So I made 5. So the first one, which one was the first one I did? This one? So this one is using the turquoise colourway. They've all got cream underbellies with their smiley faces. This one has sugar pink for the spots on his back. And then the sugar pink one has silver spots on the back. The silver one has ocean blue spots on his back. The ocean blue has lavender, or lilac I think it's called, on his back. And then the lilac one has the turquoise spots. So they all have each other's colour within them. And I have 5. So let me see if I can show you all 5 of them at the same time. Hang on, let me grab their tails. I know that's not what you're supposed to do with Manta-rays, but let me see. There we go. I have all of these Manta-rays, and I really want to make more. Like I keep saying, I have a whole bag a whole shopping bag full of yummy yarn, and I just found it really fun to make all these up. What I ended up doing though is in the pattern, it is a pattern online. It is by Teresa's Crochet Shop and it is a YouTube tutorial. It's now in my tried and tested playlist. In the pattern you do the coloured bit first and then leave a loop so that you can then attach it to the cream one. So you then do the cream one and come back to it. So after I'd made the first two, I was looking and thinking, well, how can I make these quicker? So I basically made 3 of the underbellies in the cream and then made the outer and immediately joined it together. And then did the next one and the next one. And that was a lot quicker for me to work them up. So I'm going to continue doing that. Basically, I'm just going to make as many bellies as I can from the cream that I have left over. And then just work up all the outer colours that I have. So yeah, they are so soft and squidgy. And I'm so happy with them. I have been raiding my eye stash though. Thankfully, I have 3 boxes of eyes that I can work through. So yeah, they just look so cute. There's only 2 more things left to show you. One of them you've already seen before. But I have finished it this time. So last time you saw this, I think was April's podcast. And I have been saying every month since that I'm going to get the border done on this. So if you've been watching since, I don't know, ages ago, you'll know what I'm on about. And I originally made this as part of a test for Robin of crochet.with.may. And it is the Lucky Puppy blanket. I have finished it, like properly finished it. I've woven in all the ends. I have a border on it. So I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to try and show you all of it here because you have seen it before and I have got a picture of it finished with the border. But all I did was do front posts from the back and did 3 rounds of trebles at the back, and I just put 3 trebles in each corner stitch. And then I did the same from the front because this is an envelope border, so all of my ends which were in here are hidden within the border. So I did 3 rounds each side in cream and then just did double crochets at the top in the gingerbread colourway just to finish it off. And somehow I ended up with 2 extra stitches in the front border at the top, of all places, compared to the back border. Not sure how, but everywhere else was fine. So, yeah, it's now got a border all the way around. Look, it goes all the way around. So that is done. I have woven in all the ends, as I've just said. It is going to go to my friend because I think she wants it for her mum. But yeah, I've used Starcraft Special DK in cream and gingerbread. And it was at a point, I think I was doing this at a point where we weren't able to get yarn from Starcraft at the shop because of the earthquakes and everything that were happening. We weren't getting some colours in. So everyone was giving me all their leftovers of cream so that I could finish this off. And I have had to weigh everything to work out how much yarn I actually used. So it's all over on my Ravelry project page for this, if you want to know more. And I'm just happy that it's finished. Yeah, so that is going to go off to my friend. I think I'm going to see her next weekend, so I might take it with me to the knit and stitching show, but we will see. So the last thing that I have made for September is a pumpkin. I had set myself the goal of making 20 and I didn't make 20. I finished 1 completely and I finished it yesterday because I just really had to finish it. I really wanted to get this vision out of my head. I basically found some leftover white chunky yarn, Starcraft Special Chunky. I have no idea how much was there, I mean, I can count the rows of how many rows I've done on the pumpkin and work it out from that. But yes, I had white chunky left over. And one of my favourite, actually the only Halloween film that I like is The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't like Halloween. I don't like things that are scary. And actually, it does scare me a little bit, but it's a cartoon. So, I have made a Jack Skellington pumpkin. Yeah, so it's just white, special chunky from Stylecraft. Like I said, I'll try and work out how much I've actually used. I follow the same pattern all the time for my pumpkins, which is the Bella Coco pumpkin tutorial, which is on YouTube. Again, it's in my tried and tested videos playlist, and so it's just a back loop, up and down back loop, double crochet. And I really wanted to make it into Jack Skellington. So there is no pattern for this because it's a Disney character. I've made it up as I went along. So I have written the instructions and I will put them on my project page as free if you want to add them to your own and make your own pumpkin. So I've made some giant eyes, 2 nostrils, I've made a chain mouth, and I made a black stalk because a pumpkin needs a stalk. Yeah. And I've put these extra flaps on it as well, so it kind of sits a bit better. And I've stuffed it because the pumpkin stalk that I usually use was not going to be big enough for this particular size pumpkin. This is probably the biggest one I think I've made. I don't know if it's bigger than some of the others. What I do find though is when you're working with chunky yarn, it's a bit more difficult to sort of cinch in the top and the bottom to get that shape, but bit of determination and it pays off. So yeah, I love this pumpkin, and yeah, it's not going to be for sale. This is for me just because I wanted to make one. So I'm going to find a way of putting him in my bay window so that other people can see him as well. Maybe decorate him with some lights for the festive season. I don't usually do Halloween, but yeah, I really like Jack Skellington. So I've just used, this is just special DK in black, Stylecraft. I'm very pleased with him. And that is the last of my finishes. So this is where the last of my stuffing went for this month. And I really need to get another bag because I've got so many other projects and so many other pumpkins that need finishing off. And I have no stuff in. So yeah, Jack Skellington is ready for Halloween. So that is all of my finishes for September. And I don't actually have a lot of whips either. I seem to have, if I've started something, I finished it. If I had a few odd bits that I wanted finished, I finished them. There are no whips as such, no long-standing whips anyway that I've worked on this month. So I have more pumpkins. I did set myself that challenge and I have made as many as I could in the time amongst other things, obviously. I have one that is just needing a stalk in the grey. I have these, which are all basically the panels ready to be made into pumpkins. So I think that's the same size. Yeah. So this is going to be the same size as this one, which I believe is my second size. It might be my third size. Hang on. That's my second size. So this is the second of my 4. So I've got 2 in the grey. I then have the same size in sage, which is left over from last year when I was asked to make, was it the 3rd size I made in the green? Yeah. So I have that. And there's a little ball attached to it, which is literally all I have left of that colour. So I might have to try and stripe what's left with something else to make another one. So that's going to be the same size as the grey one as well. Then I have my smallest version in the orange. And then I have my, I think this is the largest one I do in orange as well, because I like to try and get a large one and a small one from one ball. And I think I had a tiny bit left over from that particular ball. So I have a large one, I have a small one, I have a second size sage, and then I have 2 second size of the grey. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus Jack Skeleton. So I made a start on 6 pumpkins, and I'm just going to continue working through my bag of yarn that I bought specifically to make pumpkins. I do need to make some black ones though, but I can only do those during the daytime. So my weekends will probably be used to make some black ones. And yeah, I'm going to continue working through the colours I have. I have mustard, I have brick, I have a really nice deep red colour as well. And I've got another grey as well, and a brown. So I'm going to continue to make more pumpkins and see if we can get those all finished and shipped off to people before the end of October. I also have another ghost. I mentioned this already, and I can now show you actually the magazine that it came from. And it is this one, Simply Crochet, and as I said, it's from 2016. So the kit came with it for the little one. It is by, I was right, Sarah, not Sarah, Sarah Huntington. So I do believe it is on Ravelry, because I was able to link it on my project page. And this is so far the bigger one. So I've just put eyes in. I've got spaces for the arms on either side to be attached later. And I'm just about to start decreasing on the body to make it into a point at the bottom. So it's a lot bigger than the small one and should be easier. For this one though, I am using Karen Pantone, which I got from The Works in the colour Coconut Cream, and it is a bulky yarn. So I have 100 grams of it, and basically it comes in like little mini skeins all looped together. So this is the second one, and there are 5, so each one is 20 grams of yarn. So I've already used 20 and I'm on the second one now, and I am using just a 5mm hook for that to try and get the stitches nice and tight together. And I think it's coming out okay. Like there's not a lot of give in it, so I think we're all right. And there's one more thing to show you, which is in whips, and it's in this bag. So if you have seen this bag before, you will know what is in here. I recently frogged a blanket project. Now I'm not really sure I can call it a blanket project because I'd only done 4 rows and they were all double crochet. So anyway, I frogged it, realising that I'm never going to make it into a blanket, but I still wanted to have a go at the pattern. Now the pattern is My Favourite Things Christmas blanket from Dinosaurs. Now obviously Dinosaurs does not exist anymore, so I think you can get it on Love Crafts. And I still wanted to have a go at the stranded work. So what I'm actually doing is making a scarf just with 1 repeat of each of the motifs. And I'm using Stylecraft Special Aran. And so far I have some gingerbread legs. So it's quite a nice wide scarf. And I might have to repeat it, so I do 2 full repeats of all of the motifs. But they're all the same width, which makes it so much easier. I don't have to do any maths to work it out. And yeah, so I'm working it up 1 motif at a time. I think it works out to be like 32 stitches across, which is a lot more manageable than a blanket size. So I've got the gingerbread, then a bauble, then a tree, reindeer, and then the big snowflake at the end as well. So I'll just repeat it again. So I get two of each motif. And yeah, that's all I've got on that one, but it is a start. At least it's more of a start than I had before. I've actually started using the technique as well. So that is the project I will be pulling out when I want something a bit more complicated, because I think I'm out of complicated projects. Everything seems to be quite quick and easy for me to work on at the moment. So that'll be my like project I want, where I need to concentrate on something. Does that make sense? In addition, I do have some things I need to be doing for October. So we'll go through those in plans. But that is it for finishes and whips. That's quite a lot. This is going to be a very long episode. Anyway, so acquisitions. And as I said earlier, I have not bought any yarn. Nope. I just have that one ball of Yummy for the teddy bear, and then I bought a bag of stuffing. That's it. And both of those were from my local yarn shop. In addition to that, I have been listening to the Akatar series on Audible, so A Court of Thorns and Roses. I listened to A Court of Thorns and Roses back in August, and then immediately went onto Audible and bought A Court of Mist and Fury, which is book 2, and then it was A Court of... oh no, what was it? I can't remember what book 3 was. Book 3.5 though is Frost and Starlight. Oh, Wings and Ruin. Wings and Ruins was book 3. And I am loving this series. I really am. My friends mentioned it when we were in Lowestoft for Stitches on the Sand, and I honestly cannot get enough. I've had to stop after A Court of Frost and Starlight so that I could catch up with Critical Role. It's taken over my Critical Role time. Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. That's what I've bought. Yeah. I mentioned earlier about the workshop that Stanley run at my local yarn shop, All Tangled Up. So I paid for that. I got my 2 kits. So I mentioned, you've already seen the whale, but I also have the kit to make the lavender. So there's a stick, and you make the lavender and attach it to the stick. So I'm going to work on that at some point. That should be really quick to do, because I've been told that it's a very simple pattern. So yeah, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. In addition, there was a raffle to try and raise some more money, and all the tickets were £5 a ticket, so I bought 2 tickets, and the prizes are worth more than £5. And I bought 2 tickets. I wasn't able to attend, and yet I won 2 prizes. So when Helen dropped off the kits to me, she also dropped off my prizes, and I'm going to show you what they are. Now, one of the ladies that comes to the shop for the Knit and Natter, and she came to a couple of crochet lessons as well. I actually teach her grandson. Her daughter makes sweet boxes. So it's Sweet Cheek Sisters. So this box is jam-packed full of sweets and chocolates, and I haven't opened it yet because I wanted to show you. So it's been a week. It's been a week sitting here, and then look at the little pumpkins. Okay, I'm going to open this later, but it's jam-packed full of food. So I've hidden it from Joey. I don't think he knows I have it. He might get a look and he might not. I don't know. So yes, I have a box of sweets, because they all know that I love my sweets and my chocolates. So, however, I also won a kit. Now, if you've seen Stanley's podcasts or any of his videos, you'll know that he likes Nitty Critters kits, and does a lot of TikToks where he shows you him making them. And so he had a few Nitty Critter bits available in the raffle, and this is the one I won, and it is all things rainbow. So there is it comes with 7 balls of Hello Love yarn. You have a crochet hook, there's stuffing in there, there's yarn for the different features on the animals, and there is a booklet with the 7 patterns in it, and it is called Rainbow Dreams Crochet Kit. So I don't know how much yarn is in there and if you can make all of them, but I'm going to do my damnedest to try and make as many as possible. That is for sure. I love this. I love this. So, yeah. I've got some rainbow makes to do now, haven't I? It is such a big box as well, look. So, yeah. Thank you for my prizes are in the raffle. I'm very much happy with them and looking forward to working them up. And that's it. I'm done. I'm done. So many things. So many things. So, right. What am I going to do for October? My plans for October, therefore. Now, I am going to the Knitting and Stitching show in a week's time. Don't really have any money to go, but we're going to support Stanley because he's doing a Q&A. So I'm going to the Knitting and Stitching show in a week. And then a couple of weeks later, we break up for the October half term, and I'm going to Glasgow again, and I'm going to go to Glasgow School of Yarn on the weekend and see my husband as well, obviously, and meet up with a couple of friends. So I need to get an idea of what I'm looking for when I go. Because like I said, I haven't bought anything in September. So I should be able to buy something at both of the other two. We'll see. Anyway, I'm trying to use just the money I earn from my crochet workshops at the shop to pay for things at shows and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, in terms of making plans then, I have the ghost that I need to finish now, the chunky ghost. I have pumpkins that I need to finish, because I do want to make about 20 and I've got 6. So I've got quite a few more I need to work on. I've been asked to make another rainforest retreat shawl, so I made 2 of those in the past. I made one in July and then one in August, which was the rainbow one I did. So I've got another one of those to do, and I've got all the yarn. I just need to sit down and start it. But again, that's a pattern I need to concentrate on sometimes. So once I've got started with that, then I can just continue and get on with it. I've also been asked to make a hexie cardigan by my colleague. I started one in teal, so I'm going to dig that one out of my whip pile and finish that off because that's the one she wants. And lastly, I want to try and do the pumpkins from the latest Crochet Society box as well, because I think they're quite clever. Like, one of them is striped and one of them is patchwork. So we're going to see if I can work those up in October as well. In addition to that though, the Rosina Plain box from Crochet Society, a friend of mine also has the same box, and we want to work on one of the projects together. So we're going to decide on a project. I think she wants to do the scarf for it, which uses a negative stitch. We've not done negative stitches before in terms of mosaic crochet, so we might have a go at that as well. But I do want to make the blanket, so I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't really know. Anyway, yeah, so to finish off, those are my plans for October. And lastly, you want to know who has won the podcast anniversary birthday giveaway for 4 years of podcasting. And so I'll put that on the screen. I will draw that when I go to edit and stuff like that. So there's a little while until then. But thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Take care. Bye.